the purpose of understanding or learning something creative, right? So in our sessions, we would also have like a lot of different activities that is not just going to be focusing only on one particular aspect, but then we would cover all different aspects, whether it is creative, whether it is academic. So whatever field you are interested in, we would be taking you guys through all of it. So let's get started. So here today we have the postgraduate content writing 100% job guarantee, which is a 1-hour demo session, and I would be taking you through some important concepts. So we will start off with firstly the future of content writing. Let me just share my screen. Yeah, so we start off with the future of content writing. Then I take you through the different roles that are offered in the field of content writing. Then we go through the course structure, then overview of the course. I'll be giving you insights as to what would be covered or some of the topics that would be covered in our content writing course. Take you through that. Right, so then we'll be delving into the searchability, some concepts, like I said, so the content niches, content marketing. We would also be focusing into some kinds of projects that would be covered during the course when you sign up. And then I'll take you through the Henry Harvin, how it all started, give you some insights, and then I'll be taking you through the program features and then the pricing. All right, so this is the agenda for this 1 hour of session. So starting off with the future of content writing. Okay, so what is the future of content writing? You can put it in the chat. Do you see the future increasing with the day? Or how do you determine the future of content writing? The future of content writing, if I have to tell you in simple words, you look for anything on Google, you open up Google, you type in your keyword and the content that comes up on Google. Every single page that comes up on Google is obviously the work of a content writer, a content creator who sat behind that content, who has developed the content, who has built that content, and the content is visible to you, right? So that's the scope of content writing. So whether it is writing in a specific field or whether it is writing for business to business or business to consumer, every single page, even this PPT, if you see for today, whatever PPTs we are using, is also the work of a content creator behind it, a content developer who has understood the needs of the audience, what is it that we need to cover in the span of 1 hour, and develop the content. So whether it is academic, whether it is in the field of legal, whether it is in the field of content marketing or advertising, it is the role of a content writer who plays a very important role, right? Now, also coming to the during the pandemic, obviously during the pandemic, you see every organization overnight had to work from home, which they weren't prepared for. And you see, during this pandemic, it's all gone digital, right? Overnight, people had to adapt to this new norm of working from home. Overnight, there were institutions that came up with, delivering content and teaching the kids. Earlier, they would have like a board and a pen, and offline teachings were happening. But during the pandemic, every single piece had to go up on the PPT in the form of a PPT. Every single piece of content had to be, sent through the digital media, through digitally. And that's when you can say during the pandemic, the scope of the content writers have increased 10 times fold than what it used to be, right? So that's the future of content writing. There's a lot of scope and different opportunities. So explore unending possibilities as you develop knowledge of different genres and approaching to writing by contemporary and past authors. So yes, when we were having like a little discussion before we actually got started, many of you have said, yeah, y'all are really passionate about writing, or y'all want to learn the nitty-gritties or the technicalities that go into writing, or many of you are here because you're like the creative side of it, right? So there are a number of different opportunities that you can create or that are already created or wherein you can create for yourself in the field of content writing, be it a specific genre, or be it in any industry, there is a requirement for a content writer. Even in the field of medical, I'm not from the medical background. I haven't studied anything related to medical, but I also have experience when it comes to medical writing. So, of course, there would have been a person from the medical field who is going to clean it up and make sure that everything is absolutely fine and stuff like that. But it's all about your content curation skills. It's all about curating the content. It's all about organizing your content. And in our content writing sessions, we're just going to teach you the nitty-gritties of it and the technical skills that are required for a content writer to have. So develop your creative thinking, problem-solving abilities by analyzing different writing styles and working on your own projects, right? So in our sessions, also, it is not just going to be stuck to theory. So we are not just going to be sticking to the theoretical part of it, but we will definitely be working on a number of different assignments. We will be working on a number of different projects, wherein the practical knowledge is also imparted, right? So if I'm going to be taking you through a grant writing, or if I'm going to be taking you through business proposal, it's not just the theory we would be sticking to. We would be, of course, on the practicalities and different activities that would be imparted as a part of the learning outcome.
Hello.
Yes. Then, yeah, Mala, I see that you say that there is no sound. You need to like turn your audio on and off, I guess. That should do the trick. Or you can just check the settings. All right. Yeah. Hello. Yes. Am I audible to the others?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Great. Fine.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah. I'm clear. Am I audible to the others? Yeah. All right. Cool. So for the ones if the voice is not heard or unable to.
You speak to Hindi, not English.
Okay, so our training course is going to be in English. If you want me to speak in Hindi, I can take you through the demo a little bit, but the most important part of it, or you can say throughout the course, I would be speaking in English, but a little here and there, I can help you understand in Hindi. All right, because any which ways the entire course, see whatever language you are looking to create content on, whether you're going to be building content in a regional language. We've had many of the participants who have signed up for the course, and then they learn the nitty-gritties of it, the concepts, the technicalities that go into it, and then they develop content in their specified language or their preferred language. All right. Okay. So you will have the opportunity to consider your fellow writers' work and work as a part of the content writing program. So what happens in the content writing sessions, you would be clubbed with, you can say, other participants as well with similar interests. And when you build your network with like-minded people right from the beginning, it's going to make your journey all the more easy, right? Because sometimes what happens, yes, I know the skills that are required for a writer, and I go ahead and I write, but then I don't have that network. There would be certain challenges that we might come across, which would again be easier when we are sailing in the same boat with that of the others, right? So building network is again a very important aspect, and through this course, you would be connected with other like-minded people. Okay. Next is the different roles that are offered. So you would be a published author. So also in the course, you would be taken through the process of how to build your content. What are the important aspects you need to consider? Samarth Gupta, that's a great illustration here. Amazing. It looks like a mountain to me. I'd request you not to disturb the class with these illustrations. Thank you. All right. So you would be taken through the role of how to build your book. Where do I go? How do I start building my book? What are the important elements that I need to consider while building my book? Right. So once I've built the content for my book, how do I get started? Where do I go ahead and whom do I approach? How do I get it printed? All of that, the questions that you have would definitely be covered, and then I would help you, or we, the trainers, would help you to kind of understand the importance or the nitty-gritties that go into publishing your book, right? Then bloggers, so we already have some bloggers here. That's very interesting. You guys are already, a few of you mentioned that you're already into blogging. Amazing. Then we will also take you through building your blog, setting up your account, different topics. Sometimes what happens, we run out of topics and we run out of ideas, right? So we would have many different activities, many different concepts and different activities, different assignments. So wherein if you run out of ideas, you know how to pick your inspiration or how to come up with new ideas and build your content. So also a part of portfolio would be I would be taking you all through, or we would be taking you all through, you know, the types of content that you need to build in order to build up your content or showcase your work and stuff. Ghostwriter. So what is ghostwriter? It seems very scary. What is this ghostwriter all about? There is a ghost. Oh my God. So any idea? Ever heard of this? What do you mean by ghostwriting? Can you just put it up in the chat? Ghostwriter, kabhi to suna hua hoga. You would have heard of ghostwriter. A ghostwriter kya hai? What
Hi,
is?
I am Tithi.
Yeah, you can put it up in the chat. Whatever doubts you have or whatever answers you have, you can put it up in the chat. I've left my chat open. I can pick up your questions or I can pick up your answers from the chat box. Cool. Yeah, so anyone who wants to give it a try, what is ghostwriting? Okay, so ghostwriting is basically writing for somebody else's name. Okay, awesome. So Dr. Vrinda, so she's giving the right answer. So wherein you write for someone else without taking the credit. Like say, for example, who would hire ghostwriters? We have politicians, we have celebrities, we have big business tycoons, you have movie scripts, you have lyrics of a song, right? So they are maybe really busy in their life. So let's say we have like a very famous sports person who's going to be coming up with the autobiography. Now, an autobiography is wherein a person writes and narrates his or her own life story, right? So when XYZ person, I'm not going to be naming any person, but just imagine whomever you want to think in the back of your mind. So this very famous person comes up with the autobiography. Now, we don't really know whether the autobiography is actually written by him or her, or there is a ghostwriter behind it, right? So a ghostwriter would write for someone else, but the credit does not go to them, but the credit goes in the name of the person you are writing it for. Now, why would people hire ghostwriters? Because let's say business tycoons, they are already so held up with their work and their business schedules and their meetings and all of that. They have the knowledge, but they don't really have the time to dedicate into, you know, putting the time for writing their book and stuff. So they would hire a ghostwriter. Or let's say politicians. Politicians, they might not really have the ideologies into each and every department. So sometimes there are policies that are required wherein you need to understand the policies that go into each and every department, right? So there would be a team of ghostwriters who are going to be helping them with the speech or, you know, the discussions that what they're supposed to be going ahead and sharing in the meetings or their discussions and all of that. So there is a ghostwriter, or even your celebrities. Now, the celebrities, it would be all scripted, perhaps, and there is a ghostwriter who has written that book for them, or who has written a script for them. All right. So that is ghostwriting. All right. So there is a link that is given here for your attendance. Kindly just click on the link and go ahead and mark your attendance. That would be really helpful for you all and for us. Thank you so much. So in the field of digital content and content writing, yes, like I already mentioned, so if at all you are trying to understand the scope of content writing, so you open up Google, you think of any random topic that you want to look for, or you go ahead and type any keyword, you see like a plethora of different pages would come up pertaining to the particular keyword, right? So that's the amount of content that is being built around one particular topic. And that is the role of a digital content writer. So you think of different topics, you create content, and you build it on those lines. Just give me a second. Okay. Then we you have Instagram influencers, right? Correct. So influencers are basically the ones who have the power to influence other people. So here, when we are looking at the influencers in the field of digital influencers and stuff, so you have different celebrities. They would be coming and, you know, be endorsing a particular brand and influencing your buying decision. So if you see Virat Kohli, and he's going to be influencing his followers or his fans to buy a particular product, right? So digital influencers are people who, so promote, can you just click on the link? You click on the link, and on that link, you can add your you know, you can mark influence their buying this. So that's influencer does. And also you would have seen, like, there are many people who are into gadget reviewing, right? So they yeah, so you have a lot of people who would be reviewing different gadgets on Instagram, say, for example. So if they are going to be reviewing different products on Instagram, it means to say they, right? And those people, yes, and those people would be able to convince other people about a new phone in the market, and they would do like a opening of the phone or unboxing of the phone and stuff, right? So that's the work of a digital influencer. Okay, so next we have here copywriter. So any idea what is a copywriter? Who is a copywriter? What does a copywriter do? You would have heard of this term copywriting, I'm sure. You can put it up in the chat. COPYWRITER. Okay, so a copywriter is one who basically focuses on building content specifically for advertisements, right? So they're called as sales copies. So if you're in the field of writing, you can say copywriting would be a part of content writing. So we have copywriting, wherein you're creating sales copies, you're focusing specifically into building content for ads, ad related or advertising. And what is the main objective of a copywriter? The main objective of a copywriter is to persuade the audience to take a particular action. Now, what is the action that you want from them? The action that you want from them is ultimately to subscribe, to follow your page on social media, to take an action that is ultimately to buy the product or the service, right? So that's the role of a copywriter. So copywriter would be a part of, you can say content writer is a huge umbrella and copywriting would be a small segment. Now, content strategist. Now, this content strategist we have built content, but also as a content strategist, a person should be able to kind of build interesting strategies, right? So I have so much of content that is being built. I'm going to post consistent content every single day. But ultimately, what do I want out of it? I want certain goals and objectives to be met. I want so many number of people to buy so many number of products. I want so many number of people to buy these many services from our organization. So what strategy do I need to come up with? Do I come up with something very interesting, or what is a USP, right? Through my content, how can I create more of an awareness? Through my content, how can I create needs and desires, right? So that is what a content strategist would do. A content strategist would build content with specific strategies in order to make sure that the goals and objectives are being met. Cool. So you can say, as a content writer, we also do have content strategy as part of the course. So as a content writer, you would not just be working on building content, but of course, in order to, set strategies or schedule the posts or create like a content calendar, keeping in mind the goals and objectives of the organization. So all of that you would be taken through. Now, medical writer. So like I already mentioned, in medical, right, like I'm from the field of finance and marketing, but I've also worked in the field of medical writing, right? So not necessarily every person delving into the field of medical writing has to have the medical background. But of course, if you are going to be creating content for a layman, then you don't need to have medical background or stuff. But then if you're going to be creating content in the medical field for researchers and doctors and, for the people within the medical industry, then obviously you cannot delve into any kind of medical research without having that background, right? So medical writing would also be a part of your writing. Would also be a part of your course, wherein how do you research, or what are the nitty-gritties that we need to keep in mind? Even if you're writing for a layman, what are the ethics that we need to stick to while creating content for the field of medical or the medical industry, right? Then also another interesting role that we have, the social media manager. So social media manager, yes, a social media manager would be responsible for managing the entire team, right from the content creation, understanding the USPs, which is unique selling points. So what is my USP? How do I highlight my USPs on every platform that we have our page on? Let's say, for example, if we have, every organization would have its page not just on Facebook, but you can say on the most common social media sites, right? So on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. So social media manager needs to be one step ahead in order to also understand what are the trends on different platforms, what content would do well on Facebook, and what kind of content needs to be, published on LinkedIn, or what kind of content do I need to publish on Instagram? Looking into Google Analytics, the analysis, the number of shares, the number of comments. So social media manager needs to be responsible of the entire content creation, considering the goals and objectives of the organization, keeping in mind that, yes, the expectation of the audience are also met, right? So the social media manager, you can say, would pretty much look into every single aspect when it comes to content building and content publishing on the social media sites from an organization. So industry, yeah.
Ma'am, please,
You can
copywriter, please repeat who is copywriter?
Yeah. So again, to repeat, a copywriter is a person who creates content specifically for advertisements, right? They're called as sales copies. So if you're going to be creating a content, let's say to sell a particular product, so you are going to be creating a content highlighting all the benefits of that particular product. You're going to be creating content in a manner that you're going to be instilling a need and a desire in your audience about that particular product, right? So it's sales kind of copy. And every objective of a copywriter would be to ultimately get more number of leads and convert more leads into sales. So I need you to take an action. And the action I want you to take is click on that buy now, click on subscribe now, click on, follow me now, and stuff like that. So that is the role of a copywriter. The role of a copywriter, again, to reiterate, is to create content, sales kind of stuff, your brochures then you have your flyers, then you have your posters, right? So that is the role of a copywriter, to make sure that the audience are going to be taking an action. Ultimate action is to create a need and a desire, and ultimately I want you to buy the product or a service. So that's the objective of a copywriter. So here there is a typo. Can you all tell me what is this actual spelling to be used here? You all can put in the chat. Industries where you can work. So what would be the correct word? Can you all put it in the chat?
Where, ma'am?
Put it up in the chat. So it is, yes, exactly, perfect, right? So it is WHERE. Okay. So proofreading also is a job of a copywriter if you're into a content writer. So if you're into building content, obviously proofreading and editing is a part and parcel of your job. Cool. So sometimes we might get confused with something like so basic, but then it is always important for you to read it from your reader's point of view to make sure that whatever errors are there, you're going to be fixing it and stuff. Okay, so I'll take you to the course structure. So the course structure, we have digital content writing, right? Then we also have technical writing. Technical writing is again very, very specific. Technical writing is wherein you're creating content, explaining the set of instructions to your audience. Like say, for example, how do I assemble an AC? Or how do I use a microwave? So there are a set of instructions, right? Now, these set of instructions would be written by a technical writer. So a technical writer is responsible for creating content related to a particular product and how to use that particular product. So there are, again, different types of technical writing. This is one type wherein you're creating a set of instructions for the end user to for the end user to use your product without any hiccups. Now, another type of technical writing would be wherein you are working on the product and you need to maintain like a documentation. So say, for example, you are working on building software, okay? Now you have to do the software documentation. So say, for example, tomorrow people from your team or from another department, they are going to be working on an advanced version of the, okay? So now these people, they have some quick doubts, right? So now they want to look into the previous version of the software. That documentation would already be there. So how do I just a second. Henry Harvin, could you kindly put everyone on mute, or could you just give me the host access? I would do that because there's a lot of disturbance coming in from a few participants. Host, if you're there, please put everyone on mute. Thank you so much. All right, great. Right. So I was saying, yes, so the software documentation. So if you are going to be the person who is going to be documenting the software, you need to make sure that you are including all the information while you are building a particular software. So tomorrow, if your teammates or another department or, you know, your future team members, they're going to be working on an updated version of the software. Now, all the documentation needs to be maintained for the previous version of the software, right? So that is also into technical writing. So the technical writing, your user guides, your quick reference guides, your frequently asked questions, all of this would be a part of technical writing. And in this PG course, we would have all these different courses that we would be covering. So I have digital content writing, wherein understanding the digital marketing side, understanding the nitty-gritties of building content, keeping in mind the digital audience. Technical writing, like I just explained, we would be focusing on the terminologies or, you know, the language that you need to use or the structure that you need to follow for different types of technical writings. Then we have creative writing. Many of you had already mentioned that you all were here for the creative side of it as well. So in creative writing, we would be taking you through the dialogue writing, different types of dialogues, or writing a script, or how to write a creative story, or giving different prompts. We would also be working on poetry and prose and all of that. So all of that would be a part of your creative writing. Then we have medical writing. So in medical writing, yes, the structure of writing content when it comes to medicals. How do you research? Where do you research to make sure that you are picking up credible content? Because when it comes in the field of medical writing, you cannot rely on the content that was published like weeks and months ago, right? So in medical information, you obviously ought to always stay updated. Even if you are building content, the content that you build obviously has to be of the latest research based on the latest research and stuff. So in medical writing, we would be taking you through the structure, the sources where you can look for the information to curate your content, sticking to the original meaning, but how you can curate the content from different sources, references, and the sources that you need to mention, a disclaimer, all of that. Then digital marketing, yes, digital marketing is more into the advertising side. It is more into your content is built, but then how do I sponsor my content? Meaning, say, how do I advertise for my content? Or how do I incorporate or use different tools to make sure that even when I'm building my content needs to get more importance or preference than the other competitors on Google. Because when you type a particular keyword on Google, right? So you would get like a plethora of different content pieces. You would get like a plethora of different pages. Now, how do you make sure that my content that I'm building has to reach to my target audience, or I have to build content to reach to a larger organic audience? Organic, when I'm using the word organic, meaning to say without advertising or paying for it, I want my content to reach out to my audience. So all of that aspects and the different tools or the research that we would be taking you through in digital marketing in depth. So copywriting, like I already explained, so copywriting is the kind of writing that you would develop and build for the purpose of sales, bringing in sales for your organization, and getting more number of leads, getting more number of leads being converted into sales, all of that. So copywriting is also a very integral part of writing, because you're creating content and you're building your products, all of that. But ultimately, you want people to take an action. You want people to buy your product. You want people to buy your services, right? So that is what a copywriter would focus on. The copywriter would focus on bringing in business for the organization through the creative posters, through the ads, through the taglines, through the captions that they come up with, through different softwares and different tools that we would be working on in order to create the aesthetics for the content. Right, so all of that we would be covering in your copywriting. So it's like a whole combo. And of course, for each and every kind of writing, there would be different capstone projects that we would be taking our participants through. Cool. Yes, again, a reminder, please, everyone, there is a link that's being sent in the chat. I'd request each one of you to click on the link and mark your attendance. Thank you. Okay, now overview of the content writing course. So we have grammar check, which is again very important when we are focusing on the very first module, which is the language skills. It is very important for the person who is going to be developing content to also be clear with the language, making sure that there is no gap in understanding or there is no misinterpretation, that our readers could have any misinterpretation through the message that we are trying to share with them, right? So the punctuation, sometimes a comma, the place of the comma can change the entire meaning of a sentence, right? Where you place your comma also matters a lot. So the grammar, the words, the spellings, the punctuations, making sure that, we are going to go through the different types of sentences, the different sentence structures. We are also going to be working on some tips to enhance your vocabulary, how do you go ahead and build content with polished words or work on the diction and the syntax, right? So misunderstood words, use of Latin words in English. So this is the grammar skills that we start off with before even venturing into anything as detailed as content. The very first thing into content writing would be to brush up on the language skills. All right, thank you, Abhijit. Request the others to mark the attendance as well. Okay, now moving on to the difference in spellings between British English and American English. If a few of you are oblivious to this, but yes, let me just tell you, there are some words that are differently spelled in British English, and there are some words that are differently spelled in American English. Like the most common one is color and color, right? So if I say color, C-O-L-O-R, and C-O-L-O-U-R, all right? So C-O-L-O-R and C-O-L-O-U-R. So now it means the same, it means the color, whether it is British or whether it is American, right? It literally means the same thing, but just that it's spelled differently. Now, can you all tell me, C-O-L-O-R, the spelling O-R, is this British or is this American?
American.
Perfect. C-O-L-O-R is American and C-O-L-O-U-R would be the British spelling, right? So these are, color is, no, Abhijit, it's the other way around. C-O-L-O-R is color and C-O-L-O-U-R is British. So the words that end with O-U-R here, the words that end with O-U-R is Brit, okay? And the same word spelled with an O-R is US, American. So now when you're catering to a large audience, you stick to the British language, the British spellings, but when you're catering specifically to the American set of audience, then you need to adapt to the American style of writing. All right? Okay, cool. So can you all tell me before I go into the next slide, the words ER and RE, which one would be British and which one would be American? Say, for example, center, C-E-N-T-E-R and C-E-N-T-R-E. Which one is British? Is it the words with ER or is the words with RE? Which is British, which is American?
RE is British and ER is American.
Okay, RE is British and ER is American. Perfect. Most of you got this right. No, someone has got this wrong. Okay, Abhijit, RE is British, ER is American. All right. Okay, perfect. Pradeep, right? Titi, right? Right, awesome. Great. Okay, so ER is American, RE is British. So it means the same. Okay, now for civilize, ISE words and IZE, which is American, which is British. Like say, for example, if we are going to talk about civilize, okay? So is it ISE in British or IZE in British? Or just tell me ISE, is it British or British or American? Same way with IZE, is it British or American?
ISE is American and IZE is British.
IZE is British, perfect. ISE is?
American.
Are you sure? ISE is American and IZE is British?
Probably, I think so.
What is it? Let's look. So ISE is British. How many of you got it right? ISE. Yes, Pradeep, you got it right. Amitabh, you got it right. Mudra, this time you just switched it. All right. So ISE is British and IZE is American. So it literally means the same thing. All right. It literally means the same thing. Many of the people would kind of get confused with the spelling. Like say, for example, not in case of ISE and IZE, but in case of center, like CENTER and CENTRE. So they might think like it's a different meaning altogether. The meaning is the same. It's just that it's written differently in British and it's written differently in American. All right, cool. So to reiterate, all your ISE words are British and IZE words are American. OUR words are British, OR words are American. Cool. And ER words are American, RE words are British. Okay. So writing a catchy headline, choosing a voice, establishing tones, writing styles, all these would be a part of your content as well, your content writing course. So I'll be taking you through, we would be taking you through, creating interesting headlines, because the headline is the first impression that you have to showcase and bring in audience, or to get audience to click on your link, right? So coming up with interesting headlines, what voice do you need to choose when you're creating content for LinkedIn or when you're creating content for Facebook? It is different. The tone would be a little different as well, correct? So your tones, the voice, and then your writing styles. So now there are 4 writing styles. Just give me a second. Okay, so there are 4 writing styles, namely expository, descriptive, persuasive, and narrative, right? So are you guys aware of the 4 different styles? Expository, heard of expository ever? Okay, so expository style of writing is wherein you're focusing on stats, facts, figures, you're giving them details about a particular topic that involves a lot into detailing. But in expository style of writing, what happens? You refrain from giving your opinions. Cool. Let me just put it up here. It's expository. 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 Okay, I'll just use this instead. Okay. So expository style of writing, then you have descriptive style of writing, then we have persuasive style of writing, and then we have narrative. All right. So here in expository style of writing, it's based on stats, facts, and stuff. And then here what happens? You do not give your opinions. Okay, that's an expository style. Like say, for example, your history from your academic books or anything in the academic books. We are not sharing our own opinions, but what it is, we are based on the stats, the facts, the evidences, we are sharing that kind of information, right? Now, descriptive style of writing is more into storytelling, is more into writing novels and more into creative style, all right? So here, when you're giving your audience a sensory experience, okay, so if I'm talking about the senses, tell me what are the 5 sense of organs? 5 senses. What are the 5 senses that we have? Eyes, ears, nose. Then put it up in the chat. Eyes, ears, nose. What are the remaining 2? Got it in the chat. Perfect, right? Tongue. Taste and touch, that is the skin and the tongue. All right, so in descriptive style of writing, what we are doing is the author is trying to give the readers a sensory experience. So I'm going to be like, say it's more common in the travel blog, so we are going to be talking about the visuals, that is the eyes. We are going to be talking about maybe you're going for a trek, right? So if you want to share that experience, so you're going to be talking about the visuals of the mountains, and you're going to be talking, you're going to create that kind of images at the back of our minds, in the reader's minds. You're going to be taking us through a complete sensory experience. So that is what a descriptive style of writing is. Now, persuading is basically to persuade, or it is to cajole. Okay, so here what you're doing is you're trying to persuade people, or you're trying to convince them to take a particular call to action. So like I said, it is common in your copywriting. So in a copywriter would adopt a persuasive style of writing, wherein you are trying to convince us that your product is good, your services are good, and I need to buy your product, or I need to buy your services, right? Or you can also see speeches. Speeches are also trying to cajole someone in order to believe, wow, that this party is great and I need to vote for them. Correct? So there is a particular action that they want us to take, right? So that is, they're trying to convince us. Narrative is wherein you're narrating stories. It could be a descriptive story that you're narrating, or you're just narrating a story. So it's all about creating narrative. So these are the 4 different styles of writing, and you would see most of your writing style pretty much would depend on 1 or 2 styles of writing. Sometimes it's a little mix as well. So we would be going through these different styles of writing in our sessions. Okay. Then next we have creative writing, article. Yeah, so creative writing, which is an informal kind of a writing wherein we are not going to be sticking to any rules or regulations, do's or don'ts. Unlike the formal writing, unlike your business writing, there is a lot of do's and don'ts that we need to stick to and we need to abide to. But for creative writing, we wouldn't be sticking to any do's and don'ts. It is all about developing characters. It is about focusing on your plot. It is about using your figurative language, right? So all of that, which we would be taking you through. Then most of the time, people are kind of confused between a blog and an article. So a blog is, you can say, you refrain from giving your opinion. So it's supposed to be unbiased. So we can say an article, a blog is a bias that's based on your opinion. So what your beliefs are. An article is supposed to be unbiased. So we can say an article is more like an expository style of writing, and a blog, it depends whether you want to persuade your audience or whether you want to narrate a story to them in your blog, through your blog, or whether you want to build images in their minds, you want them to visualize certain scenes, right? So that is blog. It can be creative, mostly based on your opinions and your beliefs, unlike an article. An article is supposed to be unbiased. Then we have technical, academic writing, medical writing, copywriting. Then you have SEO. SEO, can anyone tell me what's the full form of SEO? You can put it up in the chat. What does SEO stand for?
Search engine optimization.
Search engine optimization.
Perfect. Right, so search engine optimization. So search engine optimization basically means you are building your content in a manner that you want your content to reach out to a more organic audience without getting into advertisements or without paying for it, right? So that is what search engine optimization is. So we would be taking you through different tools. What are the keywords that you need to incorporate into your content to make sure that your content is more visible, or to increase the probability of reaching out to a more organic audience. So that is what SEO is. So the ethics that we need to maintain, the keyword search, using the right kind of keywords, sticking to the structure of the content, incorporating the keywords, incorporating hyperlinks, making sure that we are building content in a way that people are engaging with our content and staying a longer time on our website, right? So all of those aspects would come under your SEO. And branding your content. Branding your content meaning to say sticking to the colors. Like say, for example, Henry Harvin, you see it is purple. We have the logo here. We have like the watermark behind. You have purple and black and white. These are the brand colors. So branding your content and maintaining like a brand voice, all of that we would be taking you through. So content marketing, defining your niche, choosing a content strategy. A content writer also needs to come up with strategies in order to retain the attention of the target audience, to develop content, build content in a way that the target audience are going to be following your social media pages for the kind of content that you're giving to them. Because every time if I only stick to bragging about my product and my service, I'm not adding any value to you. So how do I expect you to follow me if I'm not adding value to you, right? So even while building content, through my content, how is it that I can create and add value to my target audience, right? So what are your different strategies to come up with? So content strategy, then topical strategic content, different marketing channels. Which channel do I use to go ahead and market my content? What kind of content do I need to build? Well, creating content for so-and-so platforms. What is the voice that I need to keep in mind, or what is the tone that I need to keep in mind if I'm going to be creating content for so-and-so different platforms? Demand generation and demand fulfillment. Yes, we have a lot of demand that would be coming in by our readers, by our target audience, our, what is it that they want to learn? How am I going to be adding value to them? How do I create a need and a desire for my product in their minds? Well, reading the content, they need to make sure that, yes, wow, I really want this particular product, or I really want this particular service, right? So how is it that you're going to be creating the demand or generating the demand? And through your content, how are you going to be fulfilling the demand, right? So demand generation, understanding the gap, creating content so that it fulfills their demands, the demands of your target audience, of your potential customers. Building your personal brand, and write well, you earn. So you're passionate about writing, you create content, you build content, and you make money out of it. So it's like best of both worlds. Redundant phrases, cutting off dead weight, writing in a passive voice, and consistent English. Yes. So when it comes to building content, it is about consistency. It is about maintaining a consistent structure, sticking to style guides. It is about sticking to the guidelines, bringing about consistency. So whether you're creating one piece on so-and-so website, or there are 10 different people creating 10 different pieces on an organization's website. So it has to be consistent, whether we are talking about the language, whether we are talking about the structure, or whether we are talking about the placement of the images. It all has to look consistent, right? That is how you're going to be branding your content. And also focusing more onto the power writing, making sure we cut off the dead weights, the content that does not add value, but it's just sitting there and making it too heavy, or making it too, not focused on a particular purpose, and identifying what content does not really add value and cutting off the dead weight. Understanding active voice. Okay, so I'll give you an example, active and passive voice. So active voice is when you talk in a straight direct language. That's active voice, meaning to say, I will drive the car. So you have the subject, then you have, which is I, then you have the verb, and then you have the subject, the object, right? So the subject, verb, and object. That is active voice. So I will drive the car. Now, if I'm going to be talking in terms of passive voice, what happens? The object is going to come before the subject. So I say, the car will be driven by me. So now you see, it is just the same thing, but writing it differently would again create like a lot of ambiguity, right? So understanding active voice in a better sense and creating content around active voice so that your audience are kind of clear. So taking you through capstone projects for the course. Okay, so we have so we have capstone projects. So under each and every field, like I said, whether it is content writing, creative writing, copywriting, SEO writing, medical writing, we do have specific activities to make sure that the learning outcome is being met, not just through theoretical content, but also through practical assignments and projects. All right, so each of the field, there would be different projects that we would be working on that is going to help our audience to have like a great learning outcome, participants. So getting started with Henry Harvin. So about us, we started in the year 2013, based in San Francisco, California. So Henry Harvin is a competency development organization offering focused learning solutions, those cater to diverse audience from industry and academics. It also has its presence in India, Sri Lanka, and Beijing. And many other times we do get clients from different regions, from different places, international clients. We customize the content for corporates. We deliver the content based on their expectations, keeping in mind their objectives. So delivered instructor-led training to a client base of 30,000 plus learners, delivered self-paced training to a client base of 2 lakh plus learners, providing 80 plus courses. We also have different courses that you can choose from. We have 80 plus courses from different domains and different fields and different sectors. Vendor with 150 corporates, partner to 80 plus colleges pan India, and 100% job guarantee assistance. So program features, I'd be taking you through these different features that we have. Feature 1, which is the training course, learn various skills and techniques with 100% practical training. That's the 12 months. Then the hallmark certification, so you get global recognition for your certification with the hallmark next to your name. Then you get 10 plus projects where you can implement your learning via live and capstone projects through different activities. Guaranteed internship. So internship is the way wherein you can also get like a real-time experience of how it's going to be like when you're going to be working with different organizations, right? So 100% internship guaranteed at beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels. Then off-campus placement support, premium access to Jobs for You portal, offering off-campus job support worth 2,000. Then we have access to all Ask Henry hackathons worth 4K, 4,000. Access to premium career boot camps of 3,000, e-learning, premium access for Job for You portal were 2,000, and all of this in the gold membership, 1-year gold membership of Academy, and attend unlimited live sessions worth 6,000 rupees. So you have all of these.
Excuse me, do you offer freelancing also?
Freelancing opportunities, yes, of course. So there would be job assistants, right? So in the job assistants, you can pick the freelancing roles that you are interested in. So on completion of the program, you would be able to understand the requisites of content writing, apply the content writing techniques by understanding the skills, weigh abundant content writing concepts to equate to your own work, access your strengths, the vulnerabilities, know a plethora of digital content channels or channels to publish, share your writings with others confidently. So with the different activities that we have, we don't only focus on imparting the knowledge, but also making sure that you get out of your comfort zone and you be more confident rather than just judging your content. Because many of the times what happens, people come up with content, they build content, but they don't have that confidence in order to showcase it or highlight it or publish it, right? So with the different activities, we also kind of help you to overcome yourself when you're judging your own content. So to get out of that cocoon, right? So that is also what we would be working on. Then, of course, to understand a plethora of different digital platforms wherein you can go ahead and publish your content. The program details. So you have the training fees, the self-paced course, the capstone project, the certification, unlimited access to multiple trainers, 100% job guarantee, e-learning, LMS portal access, gold membership, writing. So all of this, not at 1,999, not at 1,999,992, but instead 1,09,500. So this is for the entire overall package, right? So for the overall package, inclusive of all the different types of training courses that we have scheduled here in this package, it's 1,09,500. So you can follow us here on our social media links. So you can find us on Facebook, Henry Harvin Education, LinkedIn, Henry Harvin Education, Twitter, Henry Harvin, and on our YouTube channel. So this is live on YouTube. And yes, someone asked me if this is recorded. You can also find the recorded version put up on YouTube. All right. So the batches happen every week. So the next upcoming batch that we have here starts on the 26th of December, 2022. And it starts every week. So hurry up and talk to the concerned person. You can take down this number here, and whatever queries you have, whatever further consultation you need specifically, the kind of course that you want to join, or how to get started, or how to enroll yourself in a course, and how to get started, you can get all of your queries here via this number. Again, let me just read it out. Even though it's written here, it's 9891953953. Cool. So this is the number, and you can get started, by going ahead and understanding how to enroll or the process of enrollment. Right? You can also send us an email at hello@henryharvin.com. So that's it from my end today. Hope in this one I've been able to add value to you. Looking forward to you guys joining us. All the very best.
I just had a query. The rate that you had given right now is for all the programs, right? Whatever
Correct.
the Henry Harvin is having, but instead we just need to opt for content writing course. Then how are the rates been? How is the segregation done?
Yeah, so you can just call this number. This is the backend team, and they will give you the complete details about if you're looking to join for a specific course and not for the PG. If you want to join only for content writing, then they would give you the breakup. Cool.
And for content writing also, if we do just the content writing, there is a option of job guarantee that you are giving on this thing, or it is how it is.
Yeah, the internship and plus the assistance, the job, you have the portal wherein you can look for opportunities and stuff. Yes.
Okay. And one more thing, I belong to a nutrition platform. So my main motto of doing content writing was to write up blogs and put it up on websites. Or maybe, so does this course is going to help us in doing that?
Yes, of course. So again, every batch we will have like different set of audience with different requirements or different objectives, right? So even though the content would be the same, right? So the nitty-gritties of it and stuff like that. But keeping in mind the objectives of each and every participants, definitely if your requirement or the requisites are to create content specifically for your, keeping in mind your objective, definitely we would be helping you out achieve your objectives.
Okay, so the trainer would be guiding us from the start.
Yes, exactly.
One more question. So is this entire PG course for 12 months if you do the entire program?
See, it depends. Like it's like if you want to do 2 courses simultaneously, or if it depends whether you want to complete one course and then go ahead with another course. So it depends on how you want it. Whether you're going to be if you're going to be doing 2 and 3 courses simultaneously, you would finish in a much shorter span. If you want to complete one course and then do the internship and then go ahead with another course, again, it's going to vary, right? So in order to check the dates and the schedule and see which schedule you want to pick and stuff like that, you can get in touch with the backend team. They would help you with understanding the schedule, right?
Thank you.
All right, great.
Here and the courses, we do get the difference of content writing, and one is scientific and medical writing. So how to select which one is going to best, which one is being suitable for us?
See, that depends on what is your interest, right? So nowhere would I tell you that this writing is better than that or that is better than this. If you ask me, I really love creative writing. I love academic writing. But that does not mean to say that creative and academic is better than the different styles of writing, or it is better than legal writing, correct? It all depends on what your objectives are, depends on your niche, it depends on which particular kind of writing you want to delve into.
Exactly. So in that case, who is going to guide us? Because see,
Like
my
I said, this is the consultation.
number. Okay.
Yeah, we have our counselors there, and they are going to help you with understanding your objectives and also helping you with, suggesting what is best in order to make sure that your objectives are met. Cool.
Okay.
All right. So thank you. It was wonderful having you all here. Looking forward to you guys joining us. All the very best. And this is Nida Jihad, Eunice signing off. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you. Thank you all.